Hi, and welcome to another fine edition of On the Spot. My name is Ronnie Wiley, and to my left is a man that needs really no introduction. You voted for
Thank
him.
you, Ron.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. He's our current mayor, Harold Gord. Harold, God bless you. Thank you. I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Well, it's glad to be here, Ron.
Yeah.
Glad you invited me.
Yeah, I tell you, from I think it was the day after you got elected. That's when I got on the horn with John and said, we got to get this guy in here. And I wanted to do a big 100-day thing, but we already had somebody planned. But I'm glad to have you here. You've been in office about this is August now, so 8 months in. But before we get to that, you're a lifelong Fayette County resident, correct?
Yes, I am. I was born and raised here.
Wow.
The only time I was gone was when I was in the Air Force for 3 years, 11 months, and 20 days.
Right. Do you know how many hours you were in?
No, I didn't know that.
You know exactly.
But I have been, that's the only time I've been gone.
Well, thanks for your service. And when you were in the Air Force, were you planning on coming back, going anyplace else, or was there any question that you were coming back here?
I planned on coming back because this is where my family was. And the funny thing is, Ron, I come home. My sisters moved away. My dad and mom moved away. So I end up staying here. Yes.
Well, but your dad came back, correct? If I
Yes.
understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
He come back later.
Yeah. And so, but he's the one who got you interested in politics.
Yeah. He served 6 terms in the state legislature, and really it started in about 1960 when the Kennedy and Nixon was running for president.
Right.
Yeah. I was in the 7th or 8th grade at the time. And what I liked is when they had their debate and they asked Nixon how he think they would do in Illinois. Right. And he said, well, it all depends how the dead vote count comes out of Cook County.
Oh, wow.
He lost the dead vote in Cook County, and so that spurred me to get into it. And then I watched Dad, and went with him a lot up to the legislature when he got elected, and got interested that way.
So you went up with him a lot to the floor and see how things were done?
Oh yeah, I went up there, and even my sons had one boy, Josh. He wouldn't hardly talk. Right. And so one day we was up there, and Dad, we was at Riley Hospital, and Dad said, "Well, bring him over here." So we went over there, and he took him on to the floor, and introduced him to the other legislators, and he never shut up since.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So is he interested in politics? Is he?
Well, I think he is, but not really.
Just watch it from afar, see how
it goes.
Yeah.
Just see how it goes.
So you had that interest, obviously, from an early age with your father and watching those debates. When did you decide, hey, I think I'll start local, here in Connersville?
I started in about 1989. I ran when Lynn Bastian ran.
Oh, right, yeah.
And that's when I first got elected, and I thought, well, you want to make a difference.
Right.
And the only way to make a difference is you had to have the vote.
Right.
And so you have to get involved. So that's what I did.
Right.
And so then I spent 5 terms there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Scott Bevington interviewed me. He beat me 1 term, so I had to. I didn't get 5 consecutive, so Scott
split it up. Yeah. So you with Lynn, was there any mentors that you had prior to that? Was there anybody coming to you saying, Harold, maybe you might want to get involved?
No, not really. I just was interested in city politics, and I have no aspirations going any further. I just wanted to see what I could do for the city because, this is my home. So.
Oh yeah. And anybody who comes, homegrown from here into politics, it's so much. How much different is it from local compared to the state level politics?
Oh, the local's a lot calmer. The state, they get so. They have their caucuses and their meetings and everything, and they get pretty up in that. I think they get a little more vicious than city politics would ever be. I like the city politics.
Yeah. So you have no aspirations of going further?
No.
This is
Gene and Cindy can have it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And they do a great job. So again, you had with your dad. Obviously, politics isn't all that you're made up. I mean, you like sports.
Yes. I got out of the Air Force in July of 1970, and my dad was coaching a baseball team. Of course, getting out of the service, I didn't have a job yet.
Right.
So I started helping him, and I've been doing it ever since. So I've always coached a team every summer since 1970 or winter or whatever. So
wow.
I'm in my 47th season.
That's unbelievable.
Of coaching. And Yeah.
Baseball down there?
Well, I done Babe Ruth baseball. I done Little League baseball. I did minor league baseball.
Wow.
I did, and then got into girls sports. I started helping a guy by the name of Mike Jenks down at the boys club, and I've been doing it ever since. So,
yeah, so
and I love it.
So when you coach the girls, is that that's a feeder system into Michael Thompson's program,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And how involved is he with your program?
He's involved. He comes in and runs a practice here and there, and so the girls get to know what they're expected of them, and so yeah, he gets involved with them. Like he's got this one class that I had now. They're sophomores now, and they're good. They're a good group of girls. They are. They're a good group of girls.
So still coaching? Obviously, that's something that you still, or do you have the time now to do that?
Well, I tell you, Bob Bridges was the mayor of Rushville, and he does a lot of refereeing.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him, I said, you know, should I give up the team or anything like that? And he says, well, Harold, you need something.
That's
and
true.
he says, you got to have something that you can do to get your mind off that stuff. And that's the reason I kept it up.
Yeah. Well, I think I kind of agree with him. I think there got to be something because you're mayor 24/7.
Yeah, because when you go out to eat, I mean, you know all this when you run, you know this.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, if somebody sees you, they want to talk, I talk.
Yeah.
And of course, that's not that I don't mind talking, but I do.
Yeah.
And because people's interested all over when they see you, they're interested.
Sure.
And so.
Yeah.
I understand.
Whoa, there's
that.
the mayor.
Yep.
Yeah, there's always that whoa factor.
And that's another thing, when I got elected mayor, the first thing that went was your first name.
Right. Yeah. That's forever.
Yeah, and you're going saying mayor, and you're going okay. Now, we went to a conference here the other day, and there's a bunch of mayors there. There's 81 of us, and everybody kept going mayor. Everybody's looking around, see who they're talking to.
Oh,
that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Mayor Harold, yeah. That. So now, how did you? Obviously, you were supportive of your father, and your family. They got to be supportive of this.
Oh yeah, my sisters, they're my biggest supporters, and my brother, he lives out in Texas. He's interested, and of course they didn't send any money.
Yeah, and they just got that support.
Yeah, they got that support, but they didn't send any money. So.
We love you. Yeah.
yes, that's true. But no, they're very supportive, and my sister, when I go to Rushville, everywhere I go, this is my brother, Mayor Connorsville. This is Mike Pavey's area.
That's awesome. I mean, again, there's got to be some sort of family pride.
Oh, there is.
Yeah,
there is.
And if your father were here, he'd be beaming too.
Well, he said something a few years ago. He said, "You're going to be mayor, but I won't be here to see it."
Oh,
so
yeah. What a great guy. I just loved your father. How old was when he was in his mid-90s, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Because I want to say he was up at the bowling alley and he was like 90 up there still bowling. Yeah. And he could tell the greatest jokes. I love
a lot of them you can't say.
Right, we can't say here. But he would always tell the greatest jokes. I love that guy. And I shared a story before we shot today of the time when we lived at Turtle Creek together. He was just my neighbor, a couple apartments down. And my son would always go out and hit the ball. He would hit a wiffle ball. And so I'm out there, or I'm watching him through the window, and I see a ball where somebody pitched it, and it was your dad.
Yeah.
Out there throwing balls. So every time we would come, my son would want to go, and I'd say, don't go up there and bother him. But he would always, and every time my son was out there, your father would come out and want to hit the ball with him.
Yeah, he loved kids, and he coached for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And whenever we used to have the tryouts at Claypool Field, he always bought ball gloves, and a kid be standing there, and Dad'd go, "Where's your glove?" He goes, "Well, I don't have one." And he said he'd go over in the trunk, pull one out, and throw it to him. So yeah, he was very interested in kids, and he'd done it. And then when he quit, I went on. I went on to. And kept doing it.
And that's a family tradition. Yeah, you guys got a long line to that. So let's go back to the election last year where you're running. Obviously, you want to win, and you had been in the tight race back in 2011.
Yeah.
So you're strategizing. You're figuring out that hey, I definitely want to win. Don't want a tight race. How was it? How was last year different from the first year? First time.
Well, it was really a good race. I mean, Mayor Urban, it was a good race, and so I knew it would come down. I didn't think it'd be. I thought maybe he would win by a little more, But
yeah, what was it? 14 votes.
14 votes.
That's the closest in history. If
I don't know of any more as mayor's races.
Right.
And so I lost that one by 14, but it was a good race, and I recounted it, and of course I ended up losing that one anyway. And I made up my mind this time that no matter if I lost by one,
right.
I wasn't going to recount it, because just for the fact, and I thank Brian Dobb for not recounting, because not a lot of it changes.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a really special thing to change votes, and with the electronics of nowadays and everything, it doesn't happen. So,
like an hour later, they have all the results. It's amazing.
Yeah. And so I made up my mind that if I did lose, there would be no recount. And I'm glad Brian done what he did, because it is a lot of money.
Yeah,
it is a lot of money.
So you're announced. I mean, you announced pretty early that. I mean, I think there was really no question that you were going to run for mayor this time. So there was no question. Did you have to talk your family into, hey, this time I'm going to do it again, or was anybody ever talking you out of it?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, when you're running politics, it's the spouse.
Right. Yeah. So
it's the spouse that because they hear things and all that, and they know it's not true.
Right. Oh, sure.
And so it's harder on them than it is, because I expect it.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
When you run, you expect it.
Right.
But the family members, your sons and your daughters, they are the ones that they hear this stuff. Of course, all my families, all my sons and daughter, they're gone, but so they don't hear it like they used to.
Right. Sure. So was your wife on board right away, or did you have to do any convincing?
Yeah.
I think everybody. That's a stock answer, I think, from every politician I've ever had on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to get the spouse involved.
But it's like I said, it's kind of rough on them.
Sure.
But it is, and because she's kind of lost her first name a little.
Oh yeah. She's the first lady.
Yeah, that's what they say to her.
Yeah.
Hey, the first lady of Connersville.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And if you know my wife, she's not really that outgoing.
Right.
You have to really. To get to know her, you really have to talk to her and stuff. But yeah, she has a good time with it now. And
that's good. That's good. So you got her involved, and again, I think it was a no-brainer that you were. But this year, there was no incumbent to go against. It was against you were the only one, and then of course Brian. Was there again different strategy that you had to use with someone who wasn't an incumbent like Leonard?
No, it just when Holly filed and made
that's right, Holly.
When Holly filed and made a three-person race.
Historical.
Yeah, that kind of changed everything around, because I can't remember what the voters turnout was. It was like 22%.
Yeah, that's terrible.
So it only takes roughly 8%, and you won.
Right.
So depending on how strong whose voters come out, that would be the turning point. So it worked out. I mean, I won. I don't know why I can't win an election by a lot.
I was getting ready to say that. Yeah,
it just seems like everything has always got to be 10, 11, 12, one vote.
Right. Yeah.
The first time I ran in '89, I won by one vote. So your votes do count.
They do. Absolutely.
Because I think the only time I ever won by with a margin is when Mayor Urban ran the first time, and I ran at large, and I carried the ticket.
Oh, right.
On ours.
Yeah.
But it was just, I get tired of it.
Yeah. So no.
But John Kennedy said something. Well, not Joe Kennedy said something to John Kennedy one time. That I try. It's kind of cute. He always told John, just buy enough to win, not a landslide.
As long as you win, that's all that matters. Yeah, that's what you tell the kids. As long as you win by one, it's still a victory.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers the score as much as they know who won.
That's it.
So this time, I'm sure take me back to where you're sitting in the at the Democratic headquarters, and the numbers are coming in, and it's close again. Take me how you're feeling then.
Oh, that's going. Oh, here goes another one. And that's what again we talked about. Why can't I win one that's where there's no questions asked? But no, I was sitting there and I'm going, well, looks like might be a repeat.
Yeah.
And but it worked out well, and I ended up winning. And like I said, again, I thank Brian Dobb and Holly. They ran good races and
very gracious.
Yes,
very gracious.
And I have my opponents were great.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was put in. I lucked out.
Yeah.
I guess.
Honored.
Yeah, and I got the honor, and I want to thank the people of Connersville for that honor.
Yeah, absolutely. So the night you had to, when it finally was announced that you are, tell me that moment where how you felt right when they said, Harold, you're the new mayor of Connersville.
Yeah, it felt great.
Yeah.
But you know, it wasn't until I went to Indianapolis, they had what they call a newly elected mayor's school.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up there, and of course they're telling all this stuff that, they're telling all the stuff that you're responsible for. And you know what? I spent 5 terms on city council, but you still don't know what the mayor's job really is.
Right.
I mean, I'm finding out things now that I had no idea that were there.
Wow.
But now there are. And so it was like the first night I went into basic training. That day was like, you know, when you're laying there in your bunk at night and you've been hollered at all day and all this, and you go, what did I do?
Yeah.
And that was the same feeling. But you know what? It's going on good. I've got good department heads. They're running their departments. They're watching their budgets. They're doing the best they can. And so right now, my job has been pretty easy. So I've really enjoyed my first 7 months so far.
Well, surrounding yourself with great people is a key to a successful leader. You know, you surround yourself with great people, let them do their jobs. You made a comment about when you were in boot camp, what did I get myself into? Kind of reminds me of that movie, The Candidate. Remember that with Robert Redford, where he's running against an incumbent and nobody thinks he's going to win, and he wins. And he's in the hotel room at the very end of the movie by himself, and Peter Boyle, his campaign manager, walks in and like, hey, we got to go. There's people wanting to meet you. And he's like, well, what do I do now? I mean, he won. Everything was up to election. Did you ever have those moments where, again, you said that things are a little bit, you learn things. Do you think you'll never stop learning on this job?
No, I think it's one of those things that you're going to be in constant learning.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
That's what I thought. To me, that's what makes it fun. I've been traveling around talking to other mayors to see. Like we have 2, like Rushville, they're what they're called a stellar. They're in the finals for being a stellar community. Mm-hmm. So I went over there to find out what are you doing over here that I need to be doing over here.
Right.
And so I went. I've been talking to several mayors. I talked to the mayor of Columbia City, Union City. It's been traveling around just trying to find out what are they doing
that we can do too.
That we can do too, because they're in the same boat. Every city's in the same boat.
Right.
There's 122 mayors, and I went to my mayor's conference, and there's 122 mayors in the state of Indiana. And they was talking about, and a lot of them I don't even know what politics they were.
Right.
Because you just started talking. And one of the things they said was, there being 122 mayors, if we can just improve our cities that much. Right. Look what we've done for the state of Indiana.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. And so that's what you got to look at. You got to look at the whole, and not just your certain area. So we joined the regional Economic Development Regional East Central, I can't remember, some kind of acronym, but anyway, and we've joined that because now they're working as a region now. We're in it with Newcastle, and we're in it with Richmond and Rushville, and we're all working together. I mean, we all want that business in our county.
Right.
But if Rushville gets it, people from Connersville are going to get a job there.
Sure.
If Connersville gets it, people from Rush County,
right.
Union County, they're going to get a job. So that's what we're working for now.
Yeah. I like that strategy. Anytime that we can get jobs that's close, that can proximity drive. I've been used to driving a lot in my radio career, so I'm not familiar or unfamiliar with that. So you meet with other mayors. You meet with. Obviously, when you're out and about, every time I see you, we talk. So you talk to a lot of people. When you were doing with your department heads, do people have to apply for that? Because you made a historical appointment with Carol, being your chief. What's the thought process in that?
Well, I went through that, and I asked for resumes. Mm-hmm. And I went through them all, and I'll tell you, there was some impressive resumes. Mm-hmm. In the police and the fire and the EMS, there was some good ones. And then I had a person that already appointed to the Board of Works, which was Jerry Irvin. And I had Jerry come over because he especially emergency he was a fireman.
Right.
So he worked with a lot of those guys. He worked with EMS, and all that. So I had Jerry Irvin help me, and we went through those, and we went through them, and we went through them. And I tell you, it was just, I like this one, and I like this one. And really, it come down that she just stood out to me as far as a police chief. And, the other guys, No complaints.
Right.
I believe any one of them that if I'd have picked would have been a
Would have
good
been
one.
a great one. Yeah.
And so they're just one of those things. And that's the hardest thing, you know, when it's your choice.
Well, sure.
You know, now because everybody goes, what do you want to do? You know,
Right.
it's not what do you want us to do, Mayor?
Right.
You go do it. So
Right.
this is what I want you to do, and they go do it. So
Right.
it is different because I've never had that before.
Yeah, and you know, obviously, you know, we had a loss in the police department with
Yes.
with Jeff. How did that affect you personally?
Well, you know, I didn't know Jeff a lot. I knew the family,
Yeah.
but I didn't know Jeff. But I didn't realize there for a while that Jennifer was relation to Kinsey Weston, and Kinsey
Right.
she played basketball for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so it made it a little more closer when I found out that was Kinsey's uncle.
Yep. Yep.
So it tied it in. And anytime you lose somebody that young and they
Right.
got a family like that, that is a rough loss.
Yeah, yeah. Jeff, like your brother. I mean,
Yeah.
I've known him. One of the first people I met here in Connersville, and you know, it showed great community pride. As a mayor, I'm sure you had to feel proud of the support that everybody had for Jennifer and Taylor, Jeff's daughter, and also the love and support that we showed Jeff,
Yes.
a guy in blue.
Yes.
You know, unbelievable.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. You know, that's one thing about Connersville is when it gets down,
Yeah.
they show up. The
Yeah.
people of Connersville will show up.
Absolutely.
So,
and that needs to be highlighted a lot more, I think.
Well, just like at the 4-H fair, you know, when that Homeland boy, let me think of his first name. Oh, he'll shoot me for not knowing him. But anyway, when the community come out, and there was a group of people had some money set aside,
Right.
but when Mr. Rusty come out and made a plea, it went from about 4,000 to up to around 12,000.
It's amazing.
And it help him out. And Jameson, that's his name.
Yeah.
Got you, Jameson. But anyway, so you know the town really does. Even though people say we're the poorest county and all this,
We're very caring again.
and when it comes to helping people out, this community does it, and that makes me proud.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I remember when Hurricane Katrina happened back in 2005. I was working at the radio station, and the morning show, Brett Briscoe and Bob Wills, they did a quick, hey, let's do a radiothon, and it was only to raise $5,000, and we ended up raising 15. So that's how I'm giving and caring. I remember I had a post out there at the right at the Roberts Building. No, the fair office building. I was in front of that, and we had people coming out and giving money, and kids would bring their change that were in piggy banks just because they wanted to help
Yes.
out. And that's just, you know, from young kids to the oldest citizens who are out there helping out. We do have a very caring community, and you're the leader of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard to believe.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, do you, you know, obviously you get into the routine, you know, and I'm sure your routine changes every day.
Yes.
And thank God for Melissa.
Especially yesterday.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I had the wrong time down. It was my fault. It actually was supposed to be. Anyway, so sorry about that.
That's all right. Worked out well.
Yeah, I feel so sorry, Melissa. It was my fault. Speaking of that, you know, she's got to be you know, that's a great appointment for you too.
Yes. One of the things, you know, people ask me, they go, well, what does the mayor do? I go, well, ask Melissa.
Yeah.
They go, what's the mayor? What's the mayor? I ask Melissa.
Yeah.
She keeps my schedule on, and of course she's been doing it now for about 12 years.
Right.
She's
Yeah.
experienced.
Yeah. Did she just come on with Leonard, or was she before Leonard? Was she with Max?
She was with Maury Connell, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Maury.
Yeah,
She
okay,
was served,
yeah.
but she helped with Maury, and then she went in with Leonard for 8 years. So she's got around 12 years.
Yeah.
So she had a lot of experience coming up. So
Yeah, so there was a no-brainer right there. No-brainer right there. So again, talked about your schedule. Your schedule obviously doesn't change or doesn't stay the same all that much. How is that different from you know? I mean, obviously you worked utility board and everything was pretty much the same. How was it quick? Was it a quick adjustment to where you know you're all over the place?
Well, you're all over the place, and that's the reason having good people beside you helps you out. Because I tell you, if you try to do that job by yourself, you would never get it done. And so, you know, I hired that guy named John Palsy.
Yeah,
Kept him on
yeah.
and everything.
I don't understand that one, but hey, you know, there you go.
But I tell you, every time I see I tried to get him to when I first got elected to council and they hired John to be our program director, they used to have a little camera. It had a little temperature gauge and a wind gauge and all the clock, and it would just pan back and forth, you know.
Right, yeah.
And I tried to get John on April Fool's Day to put that back into effect, so people wake up in the morning, they go turn the TV on, and here's this little pan going back
I
and
missed
forth.
that. We should do that. Yeah, John, what's wrong with you?
It did. It just panned back and forth, and then put April Fool's.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, or have it like it's 100 degrees when it's really cold out or something. You know, I like that. I do.
Yeah.
I like that. So again, you've made some historical appointments, very difficult decisions on that. And again, these appointments, they pretty much stay with you as long as you're mayor, correct? I mean, when
Right.
right. Now again, we're only 7-8 months into this. Have you ever thought about a second term? Yeah.
Well, yes,
I don't put pressure on you.
Yeah, you have. You know, you're just wondering, you know, because it takes the first 4 years to get things going, and then you like to see it come to fruition, you know, where you complete it and see what happens. And that's a lot of the mayors that I've talked to. They're second termers. That's what's happened. Their first term. Matter of fact, Mayor Conklin of Union City, I think he's in his third term, and he's starting to see some good stuff happen up there.
Do we have term limits here in Fayette County, or is that a state thing?
No, the only term limit is the voter.
The voter. Okay.
When you don't want that person anymore, that's your job to get them out of there.
Yeah.
Because I think term limits, it's an easy way, because that way I don't have to go vote. I know in 8 years that guy's he's done. You know.
Yeah.
And so if you can keep running and running, now you got to go. If you want that guy out of there or that lady out of there,
I never thought about that.
You got to go vote them out.
Yeah, I never thought about that because we always talk about we need term limits for Congress. Well, let's exercise that right to vote and get them out. I think I never really thought about that.
I mean, you're the employer, you know.
Right.
The constituency, they're the employers, and if you don't like the way that guy's working for you, vote him out.
Vote him out.
I mean, term limits, like I said, term limits just easy way, because you might have. What about if you got a good one?
That's true.
You know, you got a good one, and for term limits, maybe like the second term, you don't get as much out of that person as you would
if he were still running.
If he has to still run again.
You've really kind of changed my perspective on that. Because I'm a term limit. Oh, you got to have to. But now it's like, well, okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Utilize the power of voting. As we wind down, Harold, this has gone very. Meryl, you got to remember that.
Well, Harold's fine.
Yeah.
Harold's fine.
As we wind down, anything in the future that you see or that you want to accomplish, anything that you're trying to accomplish right now?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that happened to us was when Bud Veeder donated the building of D&M to the EDG director. And I think right now we've already got some people interested. And so I do know there's one local company interested in 100,000 square feet. Can't go into it, but
it's exciting.
Yes. There's a lot of good things. Matter of fact, there is one company wanting to relocate from. Now get this, they want to come from South Carolina to Indiana.
Oh wow, I like that.
So usually they're going from Indiana to South Carolina, North Carolina, Texas, wherever. But now this one company's looking to come here, and so I think we're drafting up an agreement. Hasn't been finalized yet. We're still in the talking stages, but it is working out pretty good.
Absolutely. I tell you, again, we can probably go on and on and on with you. Very excited to finally have you on the show. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to say to the viewers, those that are watching the program?
Well, I would like to thank the city of Connersville for giving me the opportunity to serve them. I'm trying to do my best for you. I want to be honest with you. If I can help you, I'll tell you I can help you. If I can't help you, I'll tell you I can't help you.
Right.
So I just want to be very honest with the people, and I have an open door. We have people coming in all the time. So we have several people come in and talk to us, which is I welcome it. So,
all right.
All right.
You know where he's at there. Harold, God bless you, buddy. Thank you very much. Mayor Harold Gordon on the spot. We'll see you next week.
Thanks,
or next month.